I'm actually expecting a drop in state of health today or tomorrow. It's day 8 today, day 9 tomorrow. So we may see a drop very soon. Maybe today. Who knows? Oh, we've got only 9 degrees. 24 kilometers to the next destination, so I could make it in full electric, but it's highway driving, and we have another let me show you destination. 74 kilometers all in total. Most of it will be highway driving, so I will use the engine, and I need the engine to heat up the cabin. It's only 9 degrees. It's freezing! So guys, there was a request on one of my videos to actually show how to drive the car in different scenarios. So I'm happy to do this today, because we will have different scenarios, like turning without blinker. And I'll show you how I drive the car. It's a bit of a mixed thing, you know. This is just how I drive. Other people drive differently. They think it's a waste of time to do all this, but I try to drive as efficiently as possible with the car, to use as less energy, regardless electricity or fuel, as possible. I bought this car mainly for environmental reasons. So I'm trying to be as green as possible with the car and not wasting energy. So at the beginning of the journey, I usually program all my destinations into the navigator of the car, if you have one, or use your phone if you have Google Car Play Audio, whatever it's called. It's always good to know how many kilometers you have to drive to your next destination, all in total, and also what kind of elevation you have to expect, what kind of speeds you are driving on. Do you do highway driving? Do you do more city driving? This all plays into account what kind of strategy you should use to drive the car most efficiently. And because in my example today I drive mostly highway, I will use some of the battery right now until the battery gets down to about 60-70%, and then I will start the engine to keep this energy for later use. We will also drive through some estates which are lower speed, like 60 kilometers, and later on through Rosewood, which is a 50-60 kilometer zone as well. So I'll use the electric power for these urban environments, then for these urban areas. And I'm trying to drive in B0 as much as possible. So going down this little hill here to the next traffic light, which is the only one in this area actually. I'm driving in B0 and let the car coast. This is all gaining distance without using any power. So let the car coast as much as possible. Let it glide as much as possible. This is all energy you are not putting in the car, you are saving right away. So we are now going onto the on-ramp here for the highway. I will use full electric because the battery is still almost full after only 5 kilometers traveled. So I make sure the power meter stays in the green area. And now we are already at 85 kilometers per hour, 90. And we can easily merge here into the highway at 100 kilometers per hour. It doesn't make much sense to start the engine now because it will not recharge the battery much, if at all. So it's better to have the battery about 60-70% empty before you start the engine to make it worthwhile. because some of the energy produced by the engine will go into the battery again. I'm still driving on B0, and even here on the highway 100 kilometers. I let the car coast on B0 down this hill here. This is probably 300-400 meters where I'm not using any energy at all, and the car just drives 100 kilometers per hour easily. And that saves energy, of course. And because I know this area here, I keep driving in electric now. We will drive on a fairly flat road here, so the power meter is fairly down. Not much energy usage. And after this next bend, there will be a longer downhill section again on the highway here, where I use just the electric motors. I told my customer I will be there at 8:30. The navigator shows me 8:34 is the arrival time. So it's always good to have this in your navigator, so it shows you if you can drive or in a more relaxed way, save more energy, drive slower, or if you need to speed up and to make it actually to your appointment. But in this case, 8:33, there's no rush, so we are right on time when we arrive there, and I can take it easy. I can even drive a little bit below 100 kilometers per hour. No big deal. I'm not in a hurry this morning. So, and now we are coming to this little downhill section here on the highway. Still 100 kilometers per hour, but see the power meter can even glide here a little bit downhill. See the motor, 0 kilowatts. If I want to maintain speed now, it uses less than 10 kilowatt to keep the car on 100 kilometers per hour here on this downhill. Once we get downhill here, I will start the engine though, because you can see this mountain in the distance already. That's why we have to go over, and I want to use the engine to get us up this hill. Otherwise it will deplete the battery fast. It's a 100 kilometer uphill on the highway. It uses a lot of energy. Still gliding down here, doing even 110 almost. I'm not speeding. I usually would start the engine now. It's probably another kilometer until we get to the uphill section. I will drive in full electric this morning just to show you what happens to the battery consumption and the battery level. I usually would drive in charge mode now to make it up this hill, which would then use no battery power at all. The gasometer is down to 27 kilometers already. So, and now we are using a lot of energy to get up this hill here at 100 kilometers. Still maintaining 100 at around 34 kilowatt on the motors. And we have traveled 16 kilometers only. So in this driving style, around 30-35 kilometers you can do, and then the battery is empty. But this is including the highway acceleration onto the highway and the uphill section here now. And now we are going downhill here, coasting, and I even have to apply some B1, B2 probably I go, to maintain this 100 kilometer speed here. And I'm charging the battery with about 5-6 kilowatt now, going down this hill here. So 80 kilometers now, and we have to turn here anyway. Let the car coast on B3, slows down nicely to this little intersection here, and then we go around the corner. No braking, it all went back in the battery. So about 3-4 kilometers gained on our way down, but we have used about 10 kilometers on the way up. So need to be careful. Here's a school, and it's a 40-kilometer school zone here in the morning and afternoon, because all these little guys here, they don't watch the traffic. So we are now entering this estate here, and again the navigation comes in handy, shows me 3.4 kilometers until the customer's destination, and I've got still 23 on the GOM here, so I don't bother, of course, turning on the engine now. I can easily make it in full electric to the customer now and have then traveled the full distance of 24 kilometers on pure electric, including highway. And the battery is still quite 50% full. What do we have? 64% state of charge. We're going probably down to 60% until we reach the customer's destination. Well, that's totally fine. And then we go to Rosewood from there. So here 50-60 kilometer speed is the ideal speed for the EV driving. So the slower you go, the better it is, the more efficient the car is. And again, I'm driving here on B0 all the time. Every little hump here, I take my foot off the accelerator and the car just coasts. And all these 10, 20, 50, 100 meters, they're all summing up. And at the end, you probably have coasted for another 2 or 3 kilometers without using energy. And this is another gain of about 5% then of EV range. You can gain just by let the car coast. In heavy traffic in city driving, I would probably prefer B5, because you constantly start and stop, and it's just a hassle then with the pedals to move the B settings up and down all the time. But here in these environments, it's pretty fine. Yeah, the customer lives up this hill there, just right over there. So we got now a little bit of uphill the last 900 meters, but then on the way back we are gaining some energy and can let the car coast and even regen. Full power, making sure the energy meter stays in the green area though. I don't want to have the engine starting now. See, the car slows down, it's fairly steep here. But no engine. And we are there. Okay, I'll fix them up and see you in a minute. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the navigator. Okay, so the next destination is 17. Wait, too much glare here, the sun. So 17 kilometers away, and we've got 17 kilometers on the GOM, so I won't make it in full electric. But I know this person where we go now, and I can recharge the car over there. Of course not fully, but I can plug in for the next 1.5 to 2 hours or so, as long as it takes to set up all these computers over there. So and if you can recharge, for how long can you recharge? Can you fully charge or only partly? This all you need to take into account to plan your trip to be the most efficient with a car. So in this case, I know I can probably recharge about, let's say, 2 hours, which will give me half of my battery back. Yeah, I probably should arrive there with a fully depleted battery or almost depleted battery. Yeah, I cannot fully charge there. Yeah, okay, let's see. Let's go down this hill first here. I'll put the car in B5 because it's a fairly steep hill. We can have a look at the region while we go down here. So recharging 4. You can even brake a little bit, which is like a B6, and recharging with 15 kilowatts at the moment. And now the hill is easing up, so I take it back to B0, let the car coast, get up to speed. We gained 1 kilometer on the gasometer. Here again B0, coasting. Yeah, I told the customer at 9:30 I would be there on Rosewood, and 9:25, so I've got even 5 minutes difference there, so I can take it really easy. I let the car coast. I haven't touched the gas pedal at all. Just let it coast here. Drives with 50 kilometers per hour. Beautiful. Okay, so we are now back at the highway. I need to cross the highway here. And this is the weird setup again, where you have to go on the highway and then move on the right lane. Highway goes straight and we are turning here on the highway. It's like a roundabout they have put on top of the highway now. So you have to go in circles. Alright. And now we are going this way. Navigation actually wanted me to go somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. Alright, now we have 12 kilometers to the destination and 15 on the GOM. 14. So I won't make it in full electric, maybe because of the elevation we have. We have to cross this mountain there. Okay, let's give it a shot. Maybe we can make it. Okay, so I have now decided to press charge mode, turn on the engine. We've got 8.6 kilometers to go and 9 kilometers on the GOM only, and we are down to 42%, and it's going uphill, uphill, uphill. I always like to have some of the capacity left so I can actually manually trigger the engine. See, on such downhill sections here I turn off the engine again, let the car coast. Because otherwise, if you wait until the engine kicks in by itself, you have no control over it anymore. You cannot determine when the engine runs and when not. It does it all automatically then, which is good at some point. But like here now, I turn on the engine right now to give me more power up this hill here. Still 7 kilometers to go. We've got 7 kilometers on the GOM. So I'm now on top of the hill. Turn off charge mode. Ooh, nice view. Yeah, regenning. Okay, going full electric now. Only 4 kilometers to the destination. Oh, look at this view. Beautiful. And we are back in Rosewood. This time during daytime. So we should be fine now. 3 kilometers to the customer, 7 kilometers on the GOM, and then we can plug in over there and recharge the car. And we are at 39%. 2 blue bars left so far. Coasting 80 kilometers an hour. Perfect. So I will arrive with about 35% state of charge, 1 blue bar left, and then we can plug in. All right, welcome to Rosewood. Okay, so we should be almost there. It's a couple of meters only, 50 meters it says. Okay, we have arrived with 34%. I think I can go in the garage here and recharge somehow. I'll figure it out. Hello! Hello! Found you finally.
Oh.
Cool, thank you very much. Fits perfectly. So, car is beautiful charging in the garage here. This is all good. Up and running. ABC, always be charging.
3 hours later.
Alright guys, we are back in the car. And just want to fire up the dog. Bye! And oh, 71%. And look at this view. Beautiful. Some mountains there. Okay, so let's have a look here what's going on. See, the GOM shows us 33 kilometers and we've got 32 kilometers to go back home. So in theory we can make it in one go back home. But of course, as we know, the GOM is the GOM, and the GOM does what the GOM can do best. It guesstimates. Manchester and lately back home, it's a different route. I think the navigation takes a while now to get used to that, because it always wants to go back to the highway. In these settings here, I need to change the settings to probably fastest or economic driving. At the moment it sits on shortest or something, I don't know exactly. Okay, let's see how far we come with this state of charge now. Because I know I can't make it back home in one full charge, I probably should turn on the engine once we are out of town here and driving faster, 100 kilometer, to recharge the battery a little bit more. But it's good, has done a good job. That was 12:30 now, 3 hours. 3 hours, 70% state of charge. We are down to 29 kilometers on the GOM. And I've got two options now. I can use the charge mode to increase these kilometers, or I can use the save button to actually stay on these 28 kilometers now until I turn it off. I use the charge button more now because it lets the engine running for longer. I think it's from an emission point of view a little bit better if the engine heats up a little bit more and drives on a better, more economic way. So we have some elevation here. We're going uphill for quite a while, and now I've pressed the charge button now. Recharge the battery while we are driving 100 kilometers per hour. This will gain a few kilometers and save us the battery for the slower parts of the trip. We're coming into a 60 zone. I've turned off the engine already, let the car coast. And driving full electric here on the 60 zone. Far more efficient than having the engine on. We are now coming into Lately. We've got 17 kilometers to drive back home, and we've got 23 on the GOM. This is a good ratio to actually make it. See, 16 kilometers to home and 23 on the GOM, so we don't need to worry about it anymore. And so far today we have used 1.6 liters per 100 kilometers only. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye bye. $20 only. It's $1.34. It's only topping up the fuel, you know, it's getting a little bit. I'm filling up with E10 usually, and I don't want to leave it in the tank for too long, so I usually top up a little bit. I don't fill up the tank completely unless I go for a long drive. So if it's cheap, I put $10, $20 in the tank, mix it up with fresh fuel a little bit, so it doesn't get... Yeah, well, 20 kilometers on the GOM and 13 to go. So I potentially could have turned off the engine a little bit earlier. But you never know, because we are going uphill again now, use a little bit more of power. 6 kilometers difference now. Should be totally fine to make it in full electric. And then we can have a look how good we have driven on this trip. See, and now 10 kilometers to go, 10 kilometers on the GOM. Bit of elevation, bit of headwind. This all uses more energy. So we made it back home with 2 kilometers left on the gasometer, 31.8%. So pretty good estimation of me when to turn off the engine actually. So you wouldn't go any closer to the engine start again. Alright, let's stop this one. Have a look at the trip here, what it tells us. 1.3 kilometers for this trip today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks. So all in total it was 84 kilometers, not 74, because I took the other way home via Grantchester and Lately, a little bit further. 1.3 kilometers up and exactly the same down. That is amazing. Sportive driving style as always, as you could see. Coasting 15.8%, very good. Regen 19.7, because we went downhill a lot. I could regen. Interesting part is again 17.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers and 1.3 liters per 100 kilometers for the whole trip. Exactly matches this one. So what you see here on the screen is very much the same as the dog shows, so must be true. So a little bit over 1 liter of fuel used on this whole trip now on 84 kilometers. So pretty good. Again, you've seen this 100 times when I drive, how I drive. This was just to summarize different driving styles and explain a little bit how I drive and why I do this and what thoughts I have. Some people don't do this, of course, and that's totally fine. I mean, this is just me. As I said, if you just want to drive the car does it all automatically for you, but you won't get this efficiency when you let the car do it. You probably end up using the battery all at once and then drive on hybrid mode for the rest of the travel time. And this uses far more fuel than if you do it manually. So use the charge and save button wisely. Think about where you want to go. Can you recharge at the destination? Do you have any recharge possibilities in between? What kind of elevation do you expect? How long is the drive? All these parameters need to be taken into account. Well, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, what a great car. Again, 1 liter used on an 84 kilometer stretch, mostly highway 100 kilometer zones, lots of elevation in there. Amazing. I'm really pleased with this result again. So why should I buy anything else? Alright, as always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. This is Andy from Unplugged TV Australia, signing off. You stay charged, and we will see us again on... Well, I haven't still shown you what was in this case, right? Okay, we need to do this very soon. Okay guys, thanks again. See you then. Bye bye.